Ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Three Wise Guys podcast. How you boys doing?
Pretty good. And yourself, sir?
Doing well. This is not our usual day of filming, so I feel a little out of place. I don't know. My head feels a little bit like misplaced. Or, like this is not the time for it, and my voice is not ready.
Why you're usually like fresh off a Grand Prix? Like,
oh hell yeah, hell yeah, fresh off a Grand Prix Sunday mornings. You have all the energy in the world. I love it too because the Grand Prix will finish probably usually before we record a pod.
Yeah.
I feel like morning energy or like early energy versus end of day energy it's two very different energies.
It is.
Yeah, this is us like beat up by the realities of the week. It's like Friday today.
But also, like we're for sure old because like there was a time where like you're right. Like now, I think we're more generally energized in the mornings, and like it kind of like
at least I am. Let me not generalize for everybody.
Yes, but I would agree generally.
Yeah.
Like I'm like early morning to mid afternoon is kind of the peak, and then like by end of day I'm pretty drained. But like I think when we were in university, it's like the evening is when you actually start to come on,
like wake up
because you're like I don't know. Well, in university we're doing dumber things, but
debatable, but
I don't think I was productive between the hours of like 9 a.m. and like 11.
I remember one time in first year I cranked out a whole report from like 11:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. It was like my cumulative assignment for the intro to business management course, ADM 1300. I did that all in one night. I didn't sleep.
That's a
and I had energy. I did it. I didn't need that many energy drinks.
I feel like I've never been on the stay up all night, study all night like train like ever. Like,
really?
No. Like,
it was too valuable, huh?
Way too valuable. Like, I've tried to do it, always unsuccessful. Because, like, I'm just falling asleep, and it's like, I can't learn when I'm fighting sleep. And, I was never able to do that, but...
What about, like, actually, no, I guess we never would have studied with Delapo because he was in fucking physics, like engineering, but, like... Yeah, no, I definitely
imagine.
I definitely do remember many nights where like I think like I started like to be productive at 9 p.m. Like I would go down to what is that what's that like basement study area underneath the library? You guys remember? Like there was a 24/7.
I remember. It was part of the UCU. It was like
you could get to the UCU, but it's not
Morissette.
like Morissette basement. I think is just like. That was a spot.
Why is this like slipping me? Like, am I also getting old? Like, I'm forgetting details.
No, because we've worked for 4 years now. Yeah, so, like we've literally
of a
university. Like we've literally been out of university for a full university career.
Actually,
more
I would say
it's been like
5 years.
University careers.
Yeah.
Well,
since we started.
5 years probably for like Arya.
Oh yeah, for you and Arya, because I was like I spent 5 years in uni. So
I mean, 2020 May to
it's been 5 years.
Yeah, it's been exactly 5 years.
It's been exactly 5 years. Yeah. As of 5 days ago, it was exactly.
Yeah, so there's some people that got into uni after we graduated that have graduated or are graduating next month. So like we're up there. Like niggas are pushing 30.
No, I was straight up like telling like I know like first of all like I never go into client meetings now and people like are like talking about how young I am for once. It used to happen early on in my career. Early on in my career, I think like fresh out of uni, they were like, "Oh, look at this guy! Like, isn't he so smart? Like, and he's young." Now it's just like, isn't he kind of smart? Like, it's definitely not like, oh, and he's really young.
We become less and less impressive the older we get. To the eyes of other people.
You know what?
To each other, I think we remain incredibly impressive.
But I will say this: when I was fresh out of uni, I don't think like 40-year-old women would just think of me as like an actual child, but they no longer think of me as an actual child anymore. So like that, I think is like one of maybe the benefits, like, you know, because they're like, oh, like you're actually an adult. I take you like more seriously now, like men and women. Sorry, I don't know why it's a 40-year-old women.
No.
I never get the oh you're such a baby.
Yeah,
like you know when you tell someone
yeah.
like I'm 22. They're like, oh my god, you're a baby.
It's
Yeah.
So young.
It's funny you guys say this because I just did a work trip, and I kid you not, every single person that asked me my age was like, "Oh my god, you're so young."
Like you work in
your
a
industry, man.
Yeah. Like it's funny. My team is a young team, and I think I'm the youngest on my team.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Which is insane because like some of them look younger than me. I remember I was talking to someone and he was like, "Oh, like blah blah blah." Like so, like you're like not the youngest. He mentioned two other of my team members that he thought were younger than me. I was like, "Nope, they're both 2 years older than me." He was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, like they're pushing 30.
Well,
right
nigga, I guess they're 1 year older than you guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like it was funny because in the U.S. too, I got carded like a decent amount of times. Like, just from purchasing liquor.
Yeah,
and I was like, what the hell? Like, I don't remember the last time I got carded in Canada. Like,
sorry, I'm a Chinese man, so I don't
remember
that's
the
a common
last time
thing.
I got carded, like ever.
Yeah, like I had some. I was with coworkers that were like 30 plus, and like don't get me wrong, one of them was a little shorter than Arya, so short, and cool dude, man. Shout out to him from Boston, but he got carded too. I was like, whoa.
That was purely a height thing.
Yeah,
that was purely a height thing.
Well, that's why I specified his height, you know.
Right.
And he's also like fresh faced, right? So clean shaven, like nothing. And I was like, damn, dude.
I might have said this story on the pod one time, but I remember when I turned 19, I went to the LCBO and then I went to see Luke afterwards. And I was a bit upset because I told him, I was like, I went to the LCBO, I was ready, I had my ID ready and everything, and they just didn't ask me for my ID. And he looks me dead in the eye. He's like, "Yeah, it's because you look like a fucking professor."
Yeah. The guy came in like a Pico dress shirt. I was like,
it was like this long.
I was like he probably looks older than he does at this exact second in that outfit. But anyway,
it was I thought I would at least get ID'd in the States.
Yeah,
like it just doesn't happen. Anyways, none of us got ID'd at the Sir concert this past Wednesday. That was fun.
Yeah, fair.
No, yeah, like in Canada, we never get ID'd. Anyways, but yeah, no, Sir concert.
Speak for yourself, Dolapo.
Oh,
he's been ID'd.
Yeah.
I've been with him when he's been ID'd.
I am a Chinese man. I have been ID'd many times.
Really? Like even recently?
Yeah, dude. Like I'll be like, I've been ID'd with you guys as a group where no one else has been asked for their ID, and then I'm last, and then they're like, "All right, time to see your ID."
Oh, and like it was in Kelowna when we went, and you got ID'd. Will got ID. They didn't give Will his drink because he didn't have his ID.
You're lying.
It was at a Vietnamese restaurant too.
I remember. Because I was like, wait, what are you talking about? We didn't get ID at the resort, but I was like, oh shit, we went to a bar restaurant.
Yeah. Be your own people. Well, not literally, but you know.
And then I think Will was like, can I show you like a photo? And they were like, all right, like fuck it, whatever.
Anyways,
they asked for Luke's ID too, and then I think Rahil's ID. The guy was a bit nervous to ask for Rahil's, and he didn't ask Sandeep and I. He came to Sandeep and I was like, "Are you guys are good?"
No, I think Rahil was like, "Are you not gonna ask for Sandeep's ID?
You're not gonna ask him for his ID?"
That's wild. Wait. Okay, so at the Sir concert, because I wasn't with you when you got your drink,
Yeah.
did you get carded?
No.
Okay.
Not at Rebel, you never get fucking carded, bro.
I think you need to.
I think you have to be
carded,
19.
You get carded at the front.
Yeah, I think you have to be 19 plus.
Yeah. For most of their events, some of their events that are all ages, they'll have different wristbands. So they'll still card you at the front. They'll just give you a wristband so the bartender doesn't waste their time.
Was this like an all-age event? I feel like I didn't see.
I didn't see that either.
Okay.
They might just give wristbands to young people that they ID.
Fair enough.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, something, because me and my girlfriend, I feel like we go for a lot of concerts. Probably maybe more than both of you, actually. And one thing we've been doing when we go for concerts is looking at the demographics of people.
Okay.
And because you know, when we went for Killer Mike, which is insane, and I hope people listen to Killer Mike because he's incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
Old white people.
Yeah.
95% of the people.
It'd be Peter and his kind.
Literally, which is wild because Peter is like the only other person I've kind of spoken to like about Killer Mike, and he's like a big Run the Jewels fan and
brings
everything.
him up unprompted.
Makes sense why he won a Grammy now.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. But like old white, like barely any black people. And keep in mind, Killer Mike's music is like black, like gospel choir, rapping, black,
boom
black,
bop, like as much
boom
as
bop,
it gets.
like black emancipation. Okay, right. So that's just I'm just juxtaposing one like demographic. Well,
I have a question for you though.
Okay.
Do you think that demographic is the same anywhere in the States, or was that a Toronto thing?
you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I can only speak. It's only in most of my concerts are in Toronto, which is another thing. Like I need to like up my concert game and start traveling for concerts. I'm just not rich enough. I need to up my money game. That's what that really is.
You get free concert. We went to a free concert in New York.
Wait,
Okay,
I'll be honest,
time.
dude. Drake recently dropped like a Europe tour that he's doing, and I was like, "Fuck, I kind of want to see. I want to see Drake. Like,
he's great. He's pretty fun live. Like, okay, I mean, it's voices, everything's.
Yeah,
like,
but like,
what's voices?
Like, everything's auto tuned. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
But it's nice. He puts on a good performance.
Yeah, like, I've never seen Drake. You know, I've come in from
Drake. I can't say like I'm looking forward to it, but like I'm joking.
Yeah.
That was
not even an
yeah.
option on the table for you to look
No,
forward
but
to.
Do you know what? Like I'm teasing.
No one is asking your opinion about Drake. We know it already.
All right, cool. It's valid.
My whole thing is more so just like, I don't know. Like, I don't think a Drake concert ticket is cheap anyway. But I'm like, fuck, if he is doing a show in Toronto, like, what are the odds?
OVO Fest, nigga. Go for OVO Fest.
Oh, does that happen every year?
Yeah.
It does happen every year. But OVO Fest, like, people have been complaining about the quality of it over the
Like,
years.
I want to go to a Drake concert.
Oh,
like
fair.
a Drake tour, you know, like where like
Drake, look at how useless you are. Niggas in your city are like where the fuck are you? Like when last did he actually do a was it last
year? Was it not last year?
No, it's all a blur. Was it in Toronto? Can you check?
I don't know.
Anyways, but like,
keep going,
yeah. So
I also want to go on this tour because apparently this is like a tour where he's specifically going to play the classics.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's going and playing like a lot of his older shit. But, like,
you know what?
Like
that would be a Drake tour because like everything like Drake Drake until Scorpion. Like you get what I mean? Huge fan. Know all those songs, can rap them. Post Scorpion, like that's where he lost me. But back to the point. The demographics at the Sir concert, so like we're noticing young couples exclusively.
Yeah,
at least where we were standing at the back.
All couples,
all young, all like
couple older couples there too.
Yeah,
but, like,
a couple, not that many. A lot of black people too.
Yeah,
like a lot of. Don't get me wrong, it was very diverse.
Very diverse.
But like we just noticed because even like Nigerian Afrobeats concerts, like don't get me wrong, there's like black people, but like I feel like majority is like other, like, you know what I mean? Because those are people that have money, but like like with Sir,
when we went, our group 2/3 of it was non-Nigerian.
Yeah, it was non-Nigerian. Yeah, like not the Markham Fairgrounds was generally black, but I meant the Scotia one, the one with Shay and.
Oh yeah, like me and Shay went together.
Yeah.
One of us are
Nigerian, but like don't get me wrong, more demographically black, but like even with the Sir one, just very diverse, but very young. Mm-hmm. I would say like predominantly young, and then lots of young couples, and like it was just super interesting. And I was like, oh wow, like that had to be the first concert because we've gone for, I don't know if you guys know Destin Conrad. If you don't know Destin Conrad, go definitely give him a listen to with your girl. He's like in the genre of like Sir as well, like R&B.
I maybe know a song, I just don't recognize.
Fair R&B dude that's really great, and like we've gone for his concerts before. And don't get me wrong, like that one was actually like predominantly black, like but like not necessarily like couples, but like black beautiful girls at that. But like this one was like, I feel like in the front there was probably like a lot of like girls, but like. And all of that to say, like, the demographics and the Sir concert, very, very nice. I felt like, oh, like, these are our people. Like, people that, like, listen to good music. There are so many people in relationships. Like, if anyone, don't get me wrong, if you came there looking for a girl, obviously, yes, there are beautiful girls there, but most of them would have probably been with their, like, boyfriends, like,
I did see, like, friend groups of just girls.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
I do think, like, I would probably bet like 95% of the guys there were their lady. That is my keyboard.
Okay,
That has
no,
just
that's
arrived.
that's okay.
It just arrived.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. They knock at the door. That's nice of them.
Well, I signed up for the okay. Shout out DH. By the way,
I was gonna say nice DHL segue. Like fuck them.
Well, I just want to give a shout out where shout out is due.
They're not gonna pay us for this.
Oh, I guess so. Well, now you have a runway for you to pay us.
Okay. So, oh fuck, I really don't want to name the wrong company. I don't know if it was DHL that did this, but one of the big shippers, it wasn't Pure Later. I know that for a fact. But like they did this really cool marketing campaign where basically what they did was they shipped these super large packages with all like 5 different shipping carriers. It was like DHL, it was like UPS, it was like Pure Later, et cetera, and they all arrived at the same spot. But these packages, when they were originally shipped, they were like 6 foot tall. And they were just pure black boxes, right? But they were actually specially designed and temperature controlled so that once it got warmer, like, cause they were like cool to like negative like 30.
Okay.
Once they got cooler, it would show a message that says like the company, in this case, I'll assume it's DHL. DHL ships the fastest. So they all shipped it to the exact same location, and the DHL one arrived first. And then like, it's just a video following all 5 of the delivery people. And you see the DHL guy arrives first, and then all the other guys arrive, and then the boxes start to like kind of like show the message as they're delivering it, and they're like, what the fuck? It's like a UPS guy with a giant DHL box that says DHL delivers the fastest. And he's
really?
like, I was like, yeah, like again, the Burger King one I was telling you about recently, like these are like the marketing campaigns where I was like, fuck, like that's cool. Like that's like why I wanted to do marketing, but like you end up just
yeah,
you end up talking to influencers about like $500
well,
instead.
It's funny because like growing up as a Nigerian kid, I can't say like I knew anything about logistics. Like fucking Nigerian didn't fucking have GPS when I was growing up. Like we got GPS when I was like in my late teenage years, and it was only in one city in Lagos.
Wow.
Which is pretty. Anyways, just giving you context that like logistics delivery wasn't a thing. It's changed now. Like Uber's there,
for
like
sure.
GPS. Like I can even see my home now and everything. We found my house and stuff, which is like great for technology and happened super fast. All this to say, DHL, like I never even knew what they were, but like I just always see them like around. So like shout out like clearly they're doing things really fast in Canada, but like. They've been in Nigeria since I was a kid, and I didn't even know what they were doing. Like, I just knew their branding and their name. I'm like, oh, what's DHL?
DHL's done really well, like, kind of positioning themselves as, like, a premium delivery service. Like, you know, like, they treat it really well. You know, like, every time I've gone and ordered from DHL, I feel a little happier. You know what I mean?
I will say the 2 times I've used DHL recently, one was for your shirts.
It's international. That's why.
And then the other one was the Keytron keyboard, which is also international.
Yeah, international. I think they got like international shipping
locks. Yeah.
By the way, like this is not needed. DHL segue back to the Sir.
Yeah, sorry, back to the Sir.
Okay, there we go.
I have to eat my words because I told Luke before the show, I was like, I've seen a video of Sir singing.
Yeah.
And I was like, it didn't sound that like amazing.
No.
He was so good.
And that was incredible. His voice too.
No auto
tune. Yeah. There was like some playback tracks for a little bit, but like it was his voice. I was impressed.
So I know like the 3 of us specifically were interested because like Sir had one song, No Evil, which was very different from any other Sir song ever. It kind of almost had like a grungy, like more like punk and like rock type of vibe. He really like changed his voice up, and I remember we were all I wonder how he's gonna do this song. Is he gonna have like, because he was singing up to them, we were like, is he gonna like play something? And he just raw vocaled it, and it was really interesting because I was talking to Noah and them at the game yesterday, and I was like, I was at a concert last night, and I was like, I had low expectations because I kind of heard he might not be the best, but he ended up being really good. And then Noah told me something really interesting, which he was like, he says he was like, having worked in entertainment, he's like, whenever I see an R&B singer like in a video and they're not great, he's like, I'm 99% sure it's probably the venue's sound setup.
Really?
And he was talking about like there's actually known venues in Toronto, like for example, like Scotiabank is apparently known to be one that's not good for singers. Like the vocals and the ways like the speakers are set up, so like it like doesn't fit everyone's voice. It's like good for like pop singers, not as good for like R&B. I don't know. Like he was like,
I'll say I saw Andrea Bocelli at Scotiabank, and that was like incredible. So I don't know if they like they just had like because like he's like the big like king of tenor or whatever.
Fair enough.
I don't know if they just did it special for him.
I imagine he doesn't book gigs if they can't get
if
they can't get his
he was singing like an
specifications.
angel, bro. I'm telling you right now, I've never seen anyone sing like him.
All this to say, like maybe it's
I think
not
that's valid. I think
maybe it's not the
I get that.
sound system alone. Maybe it's also like the engineer and the mixing and all of that. But he actually brought up organically. He was like, "Oh yeah, I heard Sir was like say some shit about Drake."
Everyone,
and I was
my
like,
cousin in the U.S. texted me about
yeah, and
that.
I was like, wow, like I really, first of all, I did not expect that his little speech thing to get out. And then clearly it was cut in a way that wasn't like how it actually was.
Misinformation happening live.
Yeah. That was
the craziest thing to be a part of.
Do you know what I mean? And now like it makes me even more weary because my cousin sent me. He knew I was going for the Sir concert, and he sent me a video. Like I think the next morning, like first thing in the morning, he was like, "This dude's talking shit about Drake," and in my head, and he sends me the video, and in my head, I was like, I was there. And like I heard that, and it wasn't even a big deal. Everyone kind of just like laughed and was like, we made some noises, but like
nobody
there was
booed.
like no one booed. There was nothing malicious. Like it was so normal. And then obviously it was clipped by academics. Like no disrespect. Like academics is fine and he does his job. But I was like just looking at the clip, and I'm like, damn, like they literally just, and like, that could start a thing. Like, I don't know if it will.
It could re-spark the beef for, you irresponsible piece of crap.
Like, do you get what I mean? But they really, like, just clipped it in a very specific way.
Yeah.
To, like, do you get what I mean? And I think you were even right where he was just like, a venue partially owned by Drake. You get what I mean?
The way the reason he brought it up, because, like, you had tickets to last year's show. We had tickets to last year's show.
It was canceled.
We were all trying to go. It got canceled, and so everybody was. That was what everybody was talking about. Because Schoolboy Q got canceled. I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I think those two at least.
But it all happened within 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then he just felt like he had to address it, so he addressed it.
Wale also canceled. I don't know why the fuck he canceled.
Wale.
Wale. That nigga needs to come back.
Is Wale TDE?
No, that was just
that was just he just canceled.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. That's me venting my frustrations.
He needed to let that one out.
Yeah.
He needed to let that one. But anyways, the reason why Sir brought it up was just to explain that he didn't make the decision to cancel it. That was it. So he didn't actually like blame Drake or anything. He like D just said. He said, "Hey, the venue was afraid of like XYZ factors. Because people were threatening to show up and shoot up the place."
Oh wow!
they were threatening to do that, and I guess the venue didn't want it. The venue was partially owned by Drake, so that's kind of what everyone drew to that. And then he also mentioned they tried to like reschedule it at another venue nearby, like unrelated, and they said nah, like
because of
it's dangerous,
the circumstances.
They just did not want to let anybody from TDE come in. It was like very much the venue thing, so. But hey, listen, Drake and Kendrick, you scared the business owners of Toronto. So you made a pretty legit beef, like to scare society. Like
I mean, it's a Drake thing, But
and I was gonna say, might have low key even been for the better, because like I've been to History, and I don't know if History has gone through renovations. History is a pretty good venue.
I like it.
I've been to Rebel before, but the Rebel we went to was not the same Rebel I had been to before.
Really?
Like, yeah, dude, it's different. That the section is gone. Like the thing in the middle, like, did you see those lights in the middle? That's new. Did you get,
Oh, you mean the ones
light,
around?
Yeah, the lights around.
I think I've seen that before. I might be mistaken.
Yeah, you guys did. Okay, I might be tripping.
The venue didn't look different. They set it up really nice. I really like the way the stage was laid out. I like their choice.
The back section was blocked off.
Yeah, they blocked off that back area where the seats are. The lounges and everything.
Yeah.
You couldn't access that, so it made the sound bounce back like a lot better. It was really good.
Oh, I felt like Rebel looks different. If I'm tripping, then fair.
I don't recall looking that much different.
I don't think we go to Rebel.
We don't go
enough.
To
well, when
really
was the last time you guys went to Rebel?
Dave,
yeah.
It looked different from Dave. That was the last time I went.
Well,
and I'm like,
videos.
it looks different.
We'll verify that later.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, we can actually just check if Rebel has gone through. Like
Cabana absolutely has gone through renovations. That's for sure.
I feel like my first time at Cabana was last year, and it looked the same way. Like it looked yesterday.
Was he not with us?
No, he wasn't.
No,
he
you
wasn't.
weren't.
The
Okay,
Lapo
okay.
wasn't. No.
No. I went last year for a Everyday People,
Yeah, right.
and that was at Cabana.
Everyday People's coming back in September. Actually, I'm down to go.
Yeah,
if you
I
guys are
already
down
got
to go.
tickets,
Oh, you did?
actually.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Alright, well.
I will say, like as a venue, I really like the look of Rebel, but I hate getting there,
Yeah.
and I really hate
Yeah.
pretty much everything else about it.
Well, like getting there was very smooth this time. Actually.
This time it was.
Won't lie.
This time it was.
Yeah. But it's probably like the type of event and
Yeah, like
Fair.
it was.
That
You know,
shit,
this
yeah.
is sir. You know, like everybody was really softened up after that concert.
Well, no, yeah, no, it's like it's the crowd that he attracts was a more
Oh, yeah,
sensible crowd.
Sophisticated.
Yeah,
I can
more
tell you
sensible
the
crowd.
exit of the Flatbush Zombies.
Oh my
and
God.
the Dave concert was not like
Oh
that.
my god!
And I was part of the problem.
Yeah,
Don't get me
I can
wrong.
imagine.
100%.
Yeah,
You were part of the,
Flatbush Zombies would be incredible though. Where the fuck are they?
Dude, they when Ari and I went, the way they came out was there was 3 coffins that were on stage the whole time,
Yeah,
and
insane.
then there was smoke, and it looked like, I don't know if they like just dimmed the lights and walked in there and opened it, but it straight up looked like there were elevators underneath the stage, and they like fucking rose into like the things. I know that for sure wasn't what happened, but it looked like that. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit! It looked like they just like popped out of the ground. Like,
And actually, I feel like Flatbush Zombies. I remember there was a point in my life. I think it was like third year, 2019, 2020. Those 2 albums were my gym albums. Like I'd be walking from Lee's to Minto.
which
Like, I like-
which one?
Um,
The one with the whatever voyage, like the one with
the Voyage.
the one
and
with
then,
Big Shrimp.
yeah, I forget. I think there's like their first 2. Their 2 most iconic albums. I forget the name. Voyage.
and Bison.
The Voyage
like, yeah.
one for sure. I don't remember the name exactly while RA looks it up. And then it's like those are like my like huge gym albums. Like that was like I was bumping those.
I
and,
see. Like I
Oh,
forget
you're
the
talking about 3001.
yes.
Yes.
Vacation in Hell. I
Odyssey
really
is-
like.
Vacation in Hell and 3000.
So
That was
good.
the concert
Odyssey.
we went to.
Yeah.
It was the Vacation in Hell.
Vacation in
Vacation in Hell was the
Vacation in
newer
Hell.
one.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was
3000. Yeah, and 3001 is the older one. Cause yeah, I think I was bumping Vacation. Yeah, cause my dates are good. Like I was like, yeah, that was like 2019.
Yep.
That was when I was on that
Yep.
gym flex, and I was always bumping Vacation in Hell. And I was like, oh, let me see what they were like, doing before this. And then I got on 3001, and I would say like every day in that summer, I was listening to at least 1 to 2 like Flatbush tracks, and like in the mornings, like at least once a week, like that album I was bumping. Like yeah, so like shout out to them. Like hey, get back together, drop an album. I think one of them was featured on like one of them dropped like a EP. I forget the
Yeah,
name.
it was,
like,
I
the
know who you're
producer actually. I think he was.
I don't know. I
Like-
haven't kept up with Flatbush.
Yeah, like one of them
over the
dropped
past
an
couple
EP.
years.
I believe it was like 2022, 2021, 2022, because I'd moved to Toronto when that was happening. But yeah,
Eric the Architect.
Eric the Architect.
I
Yes.
actually
Oh
really,
wait,
really like
Eric
his
the
Yeah,
song.
yeah.
Architect is the producer for Flatbush.
Yeah,
Well, he's one. It was one third of them,
Yeah.
but I feel like he made beats as well.
He did, and I remember when he started doing his like solo stuff, I was a little hesitant,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
listened to a couple songs and I really
Yeah,
liked
his
it.
EP
Dude,
was good.
I'm a fake fan because I love Eric the Architect. I did not know. I did not know. I did
Yeah,
not
I
make
don't
that
think you're a
connection.
fake fan. Like, there's just so much happening, and we're not like in uni. I feel like we used to pay attention. Oh, new music. You'd be
We have
looking
too
at
much- We
Spotify.
have too much shit to do
Like,
these
I don't
days.
know that we have too much shit, but we just don't give a shit.
I talked to my coworker that has ADHD, and I'm thinking about going to get myself checked. So we'll see. That's my excuse.
They're just gonna drug you, dude. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, like positively. Like, I'll take some Vyvanse, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Because that'll help.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Okay. Where's she taking 5 bands in the past, dude?
And I wish I had more. I had to really carefully like when I was when I went to so long story short, when I was in Singapore, I took some Vyvanse to
I mean,
study.
I guess statute of limitations. No, different country. Okay, you don't give a shit.
Yeah. So it was interesting because first of all, like when you're rich, you can get fucking anything. I knew this chick. She was from BC. Her dad I'm not like, here's the thing, like you meet a rich person and they'll just tell you like what their family does, and you're just like, a family can just
Do that.
do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh yeah, what does your dad do? And she's like, yeah, he owns most of the Lamborghini dealerships in BC. And I was like, what do you mean? Like in like Vancouver? And he was like, no, like in British Columbia.
Yeah, the whole province.
And I was like, so what do you do? And she was like, like I hang out in the showroom, like I sometimes sell cars, and I'm like, so you probably just like do nothing, and then like every once in a while, probably like you get credits for like a few car sales, and off that you're probably making like $300K while you're in school.
And the network you'd build
because your dad's just a fucking like lamp, and exactly. Like imagine the type of people she's meeting. Like imagine like. And then like meanwhile I'm thinking about my poor like homeboy who's trying to like hit on this chick. I'm like, dude, she probably has met like princes. She's probably met.
Don't
like,
matter. She wants a regular dude.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
No, you're right. But like
a regular dude can beat out all those guys with the right attitude.
I know it's like just to this and go back to your Vyvanse.
Yeah.
Like I know some like whatever. There's a chick from Dubai. Like parents own like airplane hangars or something like that. Like some random as fuck as that. And I'm like, what the people do this?
Those cost like tens of thousands of dollars.
It's and it's like you hear these businesses and you're like, yeah, no, you're rich.
Dude, like those hangars, like the cost to store an airplane in the hangar is like $1 million like a year. You know what I mean?
Speaking of just just randomly like starting something like logistics companies. They buy a bunch of trucks and everything like that.
Crazy.
That's their whole like all their assets are trucks. Crazy. I know somebody, through somebody else, but he started his own logistics company over 7 years or 8 years. He grew it to like $140 million a year revenue. Logistics firm.
Well, I was gonna say, let's not forget about the new investment strategy I pitched the other day. I'm not gonna share it on the podcast because
I forgot it already.
I did forget it too.
It is related to logistics, so but
okay, we'll do it after.
The conclusion was like one day, like we were in the library and I was like, I was telling her, I was like, fuck man, like I signed up for this like 4th year like marketing like research course. And I was like, when I tell you, like, I've never had to do so much like data analysis and stats for marketing ever in my life. I didn't know marketing could be scientific at that point. I was like, I'm overwhelmed because like, dude, like I was telling you guys, like class number 1 was we got into groups of 5 and it was first of all, the class was a 3-hour class. I thought it was
this in Singapore or back in
Singapore?
Okay.
Singapore. So I was like, I thought this was like going to be like 3 hours. It's a joke. Like it's probably going to end in like an hour.
Luke, you didn't go to Singapore to study though.
I didn't, which was why this was even worse. Because I was like, why are the courses hard? I was like, I wanted to come and just have a good time. And then like I signed up again. I told you I try to take easy courses. I try to take Mandarin.
I remember.
I go into the Mandarin class. Bro, this guy's like the first assignment was they were gonna give you a book that you had to finish in like 2 weeks. I was like, what are we talking about?
You couldn't do that?
No, I couldn't. I can't read. I can't I can read like 20 characters.
Yeah, dude, I can't read my local language. I can speak
can't read
it.
mine either.
Yeah, dude. The beginning of the class was they picked up 20 random students to go up onto stage and have a full conversation, which I could have done.
Yeah.
But like. Those guys didn't grow up on Mandarin. I was like, dude, I was born in China.
You ended up taking fucking Italian.
I ended up taking Italian, which that was another course I needed the Vyvanse for. But like, it was those two. It was the Italian and it was the market research course. And then I didn't even tell you this. I took a 1st-year investment course. That 1st-year investment course, I took a 3rd-year like a capital markets course in Telfer. Compared to the capitalist market course, that could have been like fucking kindergarten. The 1st-year investment course in Singapore, the end of the year assignment was you had to pitch like a whole proposal for a $1 million investment portfolio, and then estimate the risk allocation score to it, and then estimate the potential return from like a 12-month, 24-month, and like 5-year basis.
It's the fact that he remembers this.
Again,
it was scarred.
But like, yeah. So anyway, I was talking to her about this market research course. No, that one was actually. I liked it.
Okay,
yeah, I like that. Well, yeah, I'll be completely honest. My
he did not raw dog it.
Ran out.
No. So it was actually funny. My investment team, and I have a couple of these guys on LinkedIn. They're fucking smart. There were these European guys. So here's the funny part, right? There were these like Scandinavian European guys, and they were like insanely smart. These guys were like making models and shit. And then basically what we said as a group of 5 was like we were each gonna create a portfolio and we're gonna put it on Yahoo Finance like and day 1 of the class, and we're just gonna track it. and then by the end of it, we'll pick the portfolio, like, or we'll combine like the top 3 portfolios and like whatever. My portfolio was 90% S&P 500 and 10% I picked like 2 random stocks. I think it was like AMD, which did well at that time, and then Disney, which also did well at that time. And then I was like the second best performer.
I was gonna say, like, you can't go wrong.
Bookmark is a tweet from Warren Buffett, dude.
Bro, I straight up, I set the portfolio up, never looked at it, never made a trade the entire time.
That's
and then,
how it should be.
Dude, I was checking these guys like they were incredibly sophisticated, bro. Like these guys are doing like fucking like put call action like strategies. Yeah. Anyway, so
and still gonna underperform the S&P 500.
I saw this. Exactly. I saw this thing the other day. It was like an ad for this AI tool. Yeah. This AI tool that you
take a screenshot
your like the market movement, like the margins, like let's say like minute to minute, 2 minute to 2 minute. 10 to 10,
like the sticks and candles.
Candles, right? Like it can be shaped whatever which way you want, but you're basically trading margins at that point, right? So you'd screenshot it and then you put it into the AI, and then based off this, it'll model like what you should do and like what the return is. And I was like, it was showing some kid doing it in class and doing it, making money, all of that. Honestly, if that was real, I don't know why the owners would even sell it.
No.
Why would, like, if you created that, what incentive do you have to sell it?
I won't lie. Now that you're speaking on this is this is a personal view, opinion, and probably doesn't make sense. So I'm just gonna I've always felt that way about people that want to like teach like marketing.
Yeah, always
want to teach. I'm
online
like
courses.
Yeah, online like like
so good. Why are you teaching?
Do you get what I mean? Like, or the people that like it's like you can teach, but if that's like exclusively your job, like that's how you make your living by selling these courses. Yeah. In my head, I'm like, if you were so good, why don't you just do it and make money?
Well,
like,
the answer
is you should be consulting on the side.
Yeah. The answer is
that's it.
Yeah. Like, to be honest, you're absolutely right, but like there technically is like a real answer, which is like it's easier for them to sell the course than to get results from what they're teaching.
But like what they're teaching is exactly that it's easy to get results if you do what I do. That is what they're teaching. And that's the whole pull, right? Like
I get what Luke is saying.
You know what I mean?
Don't agree with it.
In their unique position, it's better for them to sell a course than execute the thing. Like, it wouldn't make sense for them to be like, yo, you should sell a course like I am. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, that's what I think when you sign up for these things. I think that's what they're going to tell you. Yeah. That's in my head. I'm like, they're going to tell you this whole thing. And we're going, at the end of it, make this video and sell this as a product.
I'll be honest, like I've thought about like I've actually thought about like doing like a whole YouTube channel around just like where you basically sign up for like 6 of these courses and just like do exactly what they see and see like where you end up like 6 months from there. But anyway, sorry, just going back to the Ruth thing about the
Vyvanse.
fucking yes.
Wow, like 3
Vyvanse is the key here, okay? But remember, it's about rich people.
It's drugs that
I was gonna say that might be the name of this episode right there. Like
because what I have to talk about also is drugs.
True.
Well, I was gonna the conclusion there was more so just like I was in the library with her and I was like, yeah, like this course is hard, like fuck, like dude, like so much data and like I'm like I was like, how do these Singapore kids do it, right? And then she was like, do you want Vyvanse? And I was like, what's Vyvanse? And she was like, Adderall? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, like, I'll give you a couple of Vyvanse. And she was like, I was like, I guess.
Vyvanse are 5 milligrams, if I'm correct, right?
They come in different dosages.
Okay.
She pulls out this fucking like I can only describe it as like a drug bunker of some sort. Like, it's a super sophisticated drug kit. And she was like, yeah, here. And she opens it. There's like fucking like everything in the world. Like, have you guys ever, I forgot what movie this was, but like John Cena plays a drug dealer. And these moms call him to like buy drugs. And he comes in and he's like, I got Romanian like butterfly or like dragonfly. I got shit that will make your dick hard. I got shit that will make you find your dick. Like, yeah, it felt like that. Like,
where have I seen this?
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know
like
exactly. I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of this movie.
But yeah, and then I was like, wait, like, and I was like, oh, do you have a prescription for that? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, so like, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's how you got into Singapore. And she was like, yeah, it's not hard to get. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, yeah, I was thinking I might want some of this stuff for Singapore. So I just like went to my doctor and I asked for it. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, she was like, yeah, I went to my doctor. I just like asked him if he could give me a prescription. And I was like, oh, you could do that? And she was like, no, not with every doctor. But like the way mine works, like I could just ask him for anything and he'll get it for me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then like, so that was like the beginning. And then throughout the course of the, you know, the exchange, I find out, you know, the Lamborghini dealership thing. Partway through, I think she went to like Europe for a bit and came back. Like it was this whole thing. I was like, anyway, if you're rich, you can do fucking anything. Like, you know, those rules don't apply.
Well, that's kind of the point.
Any prescriptions you can get, like whatever the fuck you want.
Do you think
it's all good.
If you couldn't do anything you wanted to when you're rich, you would not want to be rich?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
what's the point?
Fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, like there's doing anything you want, and then there's buying whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like some people would argue that, you know, you get rich because you want to buy whatever you want. Doing whatever you want is one of those.
The power is definitely.
It's one of the. It's one of those side benefits, like the power that comes with it. You know what I mean? You think like if you didn't have that, you'd still chase it?
Like in my head,
I chase it as hard. I guess.
I feel like I don't know any way that the two cannot be associated with each other, right?
You're absolutely right, and I agree in this reality.
Okay, but
let's just say for the sake of the argument,
no.
Yeah.
Like then getting money would just be like, oh, playing video games, and like people that like playing video games, yeah, go play, and people that don't give a shit won't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Fair,
yeah. No, I'm with that.
You know?
Well, I'm glad you talked about drugs a lot, and we talked about the concert as well. I just want to. I drank at the Sir concert. And I you guys know me. I don't really like drink all that much, right? But I got a little drunk on Wednesday. It was good. I was feeling good. I think I had like 2 drinks. That was it.
Yeah, you had your
GNTs,
yeah.
The second one, two gin and tonics, right? I don't know how many.
Those will do it. I had 1 beer.
Yeah, 1 beer.
I had 2 drinks as well.
Yeah, I had one.
I had my pre-drinks and I had 1 drink there.
Okay.
I traveled for a sales offsite, so I'd been drinking for like 4 or 5 days straight. Okay. I was like,
those are special things. On a regular day though, like let's say you went to this concert, like, you know, in a month from now, right? Like, is 1 beer generally what you would drink?
Yeah, like a beer. Like if I'm drinking beer, I'd probably go 1 beer.
Yeah, you might have like a shot though.
Yeah, but like if I'm doing like drinks, I might do like 2 gin and tonics or something like that. You know.
Okay. The reason why I ask is because. Okay, like I'm like whatever about drinking. I know each of us drink at different levels in this house.
Mm-hmm.
I think like I drink the least, you drink the medium, you drink the most.
Yeah,
right.
True, that's actually a good way. Yeah,
that's kind of how it goes. So I was reading this article. I shared it with you guys. You guys know about the article, but we'll link it as well. It's an Economist article, but basically it talks about like it's titled "Why Economists Should Care About Booze," right? But the main, and we don't have to get into exactly what they talk about, but the main stuff to take away is Gen Z drinks 20% less than millennials, based off a recent study. U.S. binge drinking, so from the ages of 18 to 25, is down from 45% in 2002 to 30% in 2021. That's binge drinking.
2021?
Yeah.
Oh, 2002 to 2021. Okay,
2002 to 20. So over the course of 20 years,
yeah.
binge drinking in that young age group has gone down by 50%.
What is like? Does it give a definition for what that is, or?
I don't have the exact definition here, but if I were to assume based off of the standard definition, I would say it's at least a few drinks back to back to back.
Okay.
Right, like when you're at a party, you're just like binge drinking, like essentially the whole time. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. And then globally, per capita drinking from 2010 to 2019 fell by just 5%. Seems like not a lot, but I mean, globally, right?
Yeah.
So 5%.
From when to when, sorry?
From 2010 to 2019.
Okay.
Right? So the trend is people are drinking less. So I guess like before I kind of get into like what the article was actually covering, I was curious to ask you guys like what's your relationship with alcohol now?
Now?
Yeah, now compared to let's say like uni. Which I know is obviously going to be different. Maybe now compared to uni. I mean, we're young at this point in our lives, right? Like, don't have much to compare it to.
Now I think it's like 90% social, 10% like, oh, okay, like I guess I'll have a drink. But like I feel like if I'm not going out or gonna be around entertaining people, I'm not really trying to drink.
Right.
You know?
I've definitely started. I drink more now than I do in university. In university, like
really,
yeah, for sure. I only drank on the weekends during the university. Like I would definitely not be like the type of person to just go like have a drink
but we smoke
with a meal. Yeah. That's that was my drug of choice, and probably still is actually. But yeah, I think like to kind of as an antithesis to Dolapo, like I do drink definitely for stress. Like I will drink to kind of like alleviate stress, both in social settings and not. So
okay. So I guess I'm curious. Like I don't know
about you.
Me, I'll drink from time to time. I don't drink at home really like all that much. Like if there's a beer in the fridge and it's a Saturday, you know, maybe even like a Friday afternoon, and I've done everything that I need to. Yeah, like I'll enjoy it every once in a while, but not really something that like I look forward to. You know what I mean? It's just like if I see it and I'm in the mood, coincidentally at the same time, I'll be like, okay, cool, no problem. I don't like go out that often. You know, when I do, like I don't drink. I've always been like this though. I feel like my relationship with alcohol has always been kind of this. I drink less now than I did in uni. I did drink a decent amount in uni, but it was always like, at a party, at an event, something like that. Obviously, smoke weed, you know what I mean? You do your thing, but yeah, I feel like my relationship with alcohol has always been like, I don't know if I can kind of define it that way. And I don't know why. I think it was just because like I don't get it. I don't like the taste of alcohol. Yeah, I tried to fake it for a while.
Yeah, but no one likes the taste of alcohol.
People love the taste of alcohol.
Actually, I like the taste of beer.
This scotch tastes so much better than this scotch, and like this beer is like better than this beer. It's like,
okay, so what are you comparing alcohol to?
I'll say this, like people don't like the taste of alcohol. No, like scientifically,
like no one does.
There's two different things in your brain that are signals for things that you like the taste of. One is evolutionary, and one is based off of basically repetition. The evolutionary one is like things like fatty things, sweet things. When we eat those things, inherently we tend to gravitate towards those because they're higher in calories. Our brains will be like, "Oh, this tastes good because I want more of it." Like, but then like if you crave, for example, like a Caesar salad, most of the time it's because you've eaten a Caesar salad, you've had it before, and then your brain starts to develop cravings for things like that. So like alcohol is inherently kind of like one of those where it's like we develop that taste over time and not like
an acquired taste.
Exactly.
Like it's an acquired taste. It's 100%.
That can happen.
You don't believe that at the acquired taste point, like people just enjoy it now?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but
that's
like
what I was referring to. By the way.
Yeah, but like I think at the acquired taste point, like we're not, and that's why I was asking, what are you comparing alcohol to? When you get to the acquired taste point, I think like I can speak specifically for me. I didn't like beer before. I was purely spirit. Yep. But now I would say I drink more beer than I do spirit. And it's like, that was an acquired taste. And now it's like, oh, like, I like lagers. Yeah. I can do ambers, but like I prefer a lager to an amber.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or like, like I prefer an amber to a stout. Like, you get what I mean? The darker it gets, the less I like it. And like, oh, like IPAs, like, geez, like what the fuck is that? Like, I don't want to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Let me just stick with a lager. A light lager might be a little too light. Like, I'm going to drink a lot. All of that, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's where we enjoy the taste. That's where the preference index comes in. It's like comparing like one form of alcohol to the other, as opposed to, because like my girlfriend also doesn't drink like at all, and she's always like, oh no, I want something sweet, and I'm like, well, like alcohol is not for you then, because
Seltzers.
Yeah. Well, like,
seltzers are not.
They're not sweet. There's nothing alcoholic that's sweet. Like, you get what I mean?
They're not sweet. They're literally flavored. They're literally mango flavored.
Seltzers have no sugar though.
Sure, they have fake sugar.
That's but like
they're flavor. There's flavor.
Like, what do we call it?
So you don't like a mango seltzer is not sweet. You're saying
no? Like, go drink Fruitopia if you want something sweet. Like this.
No, like a vodka cran is sweet to me. Like not a seltzer. But like I'm saying that just because the seltzer doesn't have sugar. But like it doesn't.
Fair enough.
Teas.
Yeah, Twisted Teas are sweet.
Okay. Sorry, when I said seltzer, I kind of meant like a mixed drink in a can. Sorry, I know there's a specific definition for seltzer, and that's not it. But like that's kind of what I meant.
I'm just saying.
I think sweet liquor just tastes disgusting.
I think it does too.
Flavored vodkas and stuff. Oof.
No.
Sourpuss.
Flavored vodka. I don't like vodka.
I don't like vodka.
The one vodka that I've had in the past that I like is this like Yeah, it's a Ciroc flavor.
I can't even do Ciroc anymore.
It's like
I used to like Ciroc. Yeah,
it's a dark bottle, but it's kind of red.
oh, it's the winter
watermelon. I think it's watermelon.
It's like a winter flavor though. I'm pretty sure.
No, it was a summer flavor. I've only had it in the summer.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was like watermelon. And you mix out with some like 5-Alive. Anyways, that's not what
funny. I have a coworker. He's a vodka guy. We went out and like I paid for one of our dinners and I'm good to expense. And this nigga was like, "Yeah, I want a vodka martini Belvedere." And I'm looking at the bill. That was he had like 4, and I was like,
it was $200 probably.
Dude, I was in my head. I was like, he knew what he was doing, but I just saw that bill. But yeah, but like I was just like, damn,
dude, he could have rinsed you. Belvedere is not even like he could have got a Grey Goose. You know what I mean?
I think Belvedere is more exclusive than Grey Goose.
No, a nicer version of Belvedere maybe, but the base Belvedere is not very expensive.
Anyways, yeah, it's just like I'm not a vodka fan, but like that was just one random thing. Shout out to him. He knows himself if he watches this.
Dude, it's crazy, man. Like you can just like the bills, bro. Like you can blow crazy fucking bills if you want, like on alcohol,
dude.
But like I think. All right, you're gonna touch upon this, but like I think one of the things, like,
dude, most expensive thing. We got a steak, by the way. Ooh, we got elk steak, by the way, which is kind of
I
really liked it. Yeah,
gamey or
people like that was what we were saying. I didn't taste gamey. Like I eat goat, like I don't know, and lamb. So like,
I don't think goat's very gamey.
Okay, like I don't know, like it tasted great to me. I don't know, and it was like medium rare as well too.
You guys want to see ChatGPT's opinion on the Belvedere versus Grey Goose debate?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like Belvedere is typically slightly more expensive.
Oh,
so
really?
keep that in mind.
Wow.
Yeah, that's because like you guys, I knew that's what you guys were gonna ask me after I said this. Okay, it's comparing a little bit. So, vodka snob pick is the funny thing here. So, vodka snob pick Belvedere, often preferred by purists or mixologists. Grey Goose, sometimes called overrated by vodka snobs.
Yeah.
I think you would definitely.
My friend is definitely a vodka snob. I can tell you that.
That's why he went for the Belvedere.
He's hilarious. I love him.
So the verdict is: if you're into flavor, tradition, and sipping, go Belvedere. If you want something ultra clean, easy to mix, and widely liked, go Grey Goose.
Belvedere is more.
Yeah.
Isn't
Belvedere
slightly more expensive?
Isn't it like the white bottle with like the tree?
Yeah.
That one's more expensive than
I thought it was clear.
No, it's clear. It's a white bottle. Yeah, it's clear, and it's like a gray tree.
But isn't it
Montreal,
like
it was Belvedere that we got.
$7.50 like of what's it called? Grey Goose is like $100. No?
Dude, Belvedere is definitely more.
Wow. Okay. I thought for some reason it was like 60.
You know, I want to bring it back to the article.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Like this is part of it. I like the discussion, but I also want to get your guys' opinion on the opinion of the article, which I thought was really interesting. So the whole point of the article was to demonstrate and say economists want you to drink. They don't want people to be sober because alcohol actually contributes a lot to global GDP in indirect and in
specifically European GDP. I'm joking, but
just well, potentially, yeah. But from a direct perspective, right? The indirect argument here is that alcohol has been the binding glue for socialization, community, like relationship building. Like it's been the core piece. That's I wouldn't say core piece. I'd say it's one of the biggest constants between cultures.
Yeah.
Right. Like everybody drinks, everybody goes out, they're be social and things like that. That's like alcohol has come up time and time again between different cultures and how they connect with different people. So in that regard, it's helped close business deals. It's helped, probably save wars from happening. I don't know, with these diplomats meet and talk. On the flip side, it contributes to, I believe, 3 to 5% of global GDP. Alcohol consumption.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
I think that's the number. Let me double check. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. Like, do you agree with that? Like, do you see it a little bit differently?
No, like I think the numbers speak for itself. And right from when I did fucking new venture creation in uni, like, and I learned about restaurants being the worst type of business to start.
Yeah.
And at that point, I also learned that alcohol is what makes restaurants, like, actually even an okay business to look into. You get
gives
what
them
I mean?
the profit margin to lose money on everything.
Yeah, on everything else. And so, like, I been knew, like, alcohol, like, at least for the food in the restaurant industry, like I know it's huge there. Like the socialization is big. I think, yes, it's the most widely accepted. Like you said, like we did other things in uni and it was so funny. Like one time I was speaking, I think it was to my girlfriend again, where I was like, I think all my friends, like a lot, not all, but like majority of my friends that I met in uni is because we all like, did like stuff together. You know what I mean? And so it was like
Did drugs.
Yeah, did drugs together. And so it was like, yeah, like alcohol does that, but other drugs do that too. Those are just not widely accepted. And alcohol like is like like in Nigeria, do you get what I mean? Like you could do like alcohol. I'm sure the coke heads like they all move together and like, they all love each other and stuff like like you know what I mean? I'm just like I'm sure like,
it brings people together. That was what the article was saying is like it's going like private drinking is going up. So the trend is that public drinking has gone down, but private drinking has gone up.
That's definitely not good.
And so that's why I was saying, hey, let's not ostracize drinking here. We should, obviously, you don't need to tell people who don't need to drink to drink.
Of course,
like, that's very bad. But apparently
at the same that's time, a critique of both of you.
What?
Always trying to tell people to drink.
I've stopped in recent years.
Okay.
Like that was actually I used to be pretty bad at
it.
But I don't because I don't.
Well, less you, more him.
Because I don't drink as much anymore. I've stopped peer pressuring.
Okay.
I peer pressure like very specific people, and they need to be peer pressured. I'm not taking that back.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
If you're in the house, it's fair game. To be honest,
what does that mean? I just called him out. And he's like, I do it for people. If you're in my house, it's fair game. Okay, all right.
No. Like when I say in the house, I meant like the ecosystem of the house, the pod, the circle. Of
so
like us and like our extended like.
Luke is about to lecture.
We make decisions that impact each other all the time.
Okay.
This is just another decision. I'm making a decision. I'm making a decision to make you have a better time. I make other decisions to help you out. Like, for example, I decide to go buy certain groceries because I assume that you'll like them. You know what I mean? I don't tiptoe around that. I'm not like, oh, I feel like my friend's not having as good of a time. I need him to have a good time. Am I allowed to say this? No, I'm just going to say it, right? But that's not the same thing as well.
There's been situations where Luke has definitely like stared me down the barrel and made me like finish a drink. And you know what? I was okay with it only because I didn't throw up. I handled it. That was fine. If it might have been a different story if I did, but sometimes I needed a little push.
All right, whatever. But anyways, let's continue. I just wanted to highlight that. But yeah, you're saying people need to drink more social. And I guess that's what you're doing. You're pressuring people to drink with you.
He's contributing to the global GDP. So by the way, the number is 1 to 3%.
There we go.
I mean,
he's contributed personally 0.025% of global GDP.
Yeah, I believe it. I don't know. I think like there's something there for sure. Before you brought up this topic, I think when you first brought up this topic, I think I was telling you this is something I was talking to some of my coworkers about because they were like, I think it was a different article that we might have been like kind of sharing internally, but there was this notion that like one of the reasons why the younger generation is drinking less is because they're less focused on socialization and more focused on like individual uniqueness, like individuality. And that's a huge like focus for Gen Zs and like the newer generation. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like when you go out, like keep in mind that was a totally normal part of our lives. Everyone did it, right?
Yeah.
But it's like nothing special, right? Like, and it's like when you're going out, you're competing on things like, okay, who can buy bottles and shit? That's too expensive. So a lot of these younger kids, they're like, it's cooler for me to be like, no, I don't go out. I run in the mornings on Sundays. I don't go out. I'm a big like go to the farmer's market kind of person.
Rolls my eyes went into the back of my head, came back up, and I'm like, go back again.
I want to point out that's not why I reacted. You said something, and I wanted to like emphasize what you said is about it being cool.
Yeah,
right. That was going to be one of my follow up questions. I was like, do you guys just think that drinking is, let's say, no longer considered as cool as it once was?
It's not as cool because it's everyday thing. People want.
I think drinking is still has the social status that it once had.
It's cool, but it's not.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But to the extent that what it was, let's say, like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's just not unique.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah. Right. That's why I think
cool. It's not unique. Yeah. I love that.
And that's why people are. And keep in mind, even the trends with alcohol, it's getting more and more niche. We're talking about like fucking jalapeno infused things. Like, can you imagine like back in the day, like that being a
Were you aware
popular
of this? I'm sure.
I didn't know until after uni that they made
spicy cocktails. Spicy cocktails are a super popular thing now, right? Like
I don't get that.
It's my first time hearing this.
Yeah, like not the biggest
anyways,
fan
like
myself,
yeah,
too.
but like continue though.
But like the trend when we were in university was like you just go drink vodka, you drink whiskey, whatever. Now people are seeking unique.
No, it's tequila. The tequila wave
It was
started when we were
tequila,
in
but
uni.
like people are now seeking more and more niche things. People are trying to drink sake, trying to drink soju, makgeolli, like all these more niche cocktails. Mead is making a comeback. Like fucking like we're talking about like literally basically fortified wine.
I was at dinner the other day and I was talking to someone. He was interested in IPAs. I was like, I have a friend that's interested in IPAs. He was like, hipster. I was like trying to be. Yeah, that was you, by the way. But now you would be the first person I know that would drink mead, wouldn't you?
Mead, yeah, I try it. Why not? Yeah.
I know you should. Yeah,
do you think a big reason why people aren't drinking is like the trend of health and wellness has been growing a lot?
No,
over the past like 10, 15 years.
No,
I don't think that's
so.
part of it.
No,
because a lot of the people that like don't drink right now that I know of have done it specifically for the health benefit.
Really?
A lot of people really.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I can give you an example, but like I don't want to say their name here. I can tell you afterwards. But like, like explicitly it was told to me like, hey, this is for like health benefits.
Oh, like they were seeing like a tangible negative impact on their life from drinking.
Yeah, like to lose weight, clear your skin, everything like that.
Oh,
and they stopped,
changed
their entire everything in less than 12 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I guess obviously, in coordination with like, you gotta eat well, you gotta go.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like those probably matter more than drinking, or maybe.
But like see, the thing is like
the
eating well and the going it was something that they were doing. You know what I mean? It's just like this was like an addition to that existing routine, and it accelerated. I wouldn't say it was the catalyst, but it accelerated a lot of that progress.
And I mean,
it's just a question. I'm just curious if you guys.
I think most of the people that I know that don't drink, religious, 1, 2, scared of being drunk, 3, scared of being drunk, I guess bleeds into 3, which is, like, I won't be able to control, like, myself and stuff like that. Like, and, like, I grew up, like, Nigeria, conservative, whatever. So, like, it's more that than, like, health and.
I mean, that's one of the main reasons that I don't drink I drink, but like I don't drink a lot is because I don't want to like lose control over my head. Like I'm not comfortable with that, the idea of that in public.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like,
I don't know. I don't feel like I feel like everything there is valid. I think like there's also like just a simpler thing of like, the young people right now are not doing financially that well. Going out and drinking in public is genuinely an expensive thing. Like it is. Like we should also point that out. Like I know I was talking to you about this. I don't know if you would recall this conversation, but I was saying I watched this video. And one of the things it was really talking about is like this idea of recession. We're going through a recession, but not like in the traditional sense. It's a recession of empathy. It's a recession of loneliness. It's a recession of time. And it talks about like phenomenons. Like, okay, like for example, you take the idea of loneliness, right? People don't want to meet on a dating app. But what's the other option? You finish a extremely long week of work. You're physically and mentally exhausted. Most of your friends don't want to go out because they're in the exact same situation. They just finished a physically and mentally exhausting week of work. The idea of going out, it costs $40 to get there. When you get there, you got to pay a cover fee of X, Y, and Z. Gonna go in, buy 2 drinks. People there probably are gonna stick to
$40 in Chicago for cover.
Yeah,
you motherfuckers.
All this to say, like we're
gonna have to push back the deadline to stop cussing on the episode. By the way, I should start reminding you guys.
Like fuck that.
All this to say, you put a lot of expectations on the event itself. It ends up not being that great, and it ends up being extremely expensive. And it's like, well, how are you supposed to want to do that again?
Yeah,
right. Like it's just like I feel like that's also a big factor, right? It's not just like.
It is. It absolutely is. I think it's also kind of a waste of money.
I don't know. Niggas going in debt for worse. Like that's my response to that. Yeah. Like if niggas want to,
not people like us.
Yeah, it's like if they want to go out, like you'll run up the credit card bill. Okay, you're running it up on dumb shit anyway.
You will. And sometimes you don't really have a choice. Like when I went to Tulum for the bachelor party.
Yeah.
the hotel that I went to, where that show was at, I paid $30 for a gin and tonic.
That's wild.
It's like it was an exclusive place, mind you, right? Like it was the only drink I bought that night.
No excuse.
But like it was just like an exclusive like place for like rich people. I was just like there, by happenstance. But like it was ridiculous.
I was gonna say, I think Luke does have a valid point. I do think some people like going out. People go out less now. I think people don't like. There is a recession. Like people are more lonely. People keep more to themselves. Like I absolutely there's incel stuff. I was gonna add. I think. I'm sorry, not needed. Okay.
So not that.
Okay. All right. My bad. I'm tripping. What I wanted to add is like there's so much designer drugs now. Like you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like there's just what.
I don't, like what?
Like alternatives, like
fentanyl is designer.
Well, like like I was in Chicago and people were like, "Oh, shrooms are becoming such a huge thing now in the U.S."
I don't even know if that's like true.
Shrooms are not designer drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, I think designer inherently has to mean it's been like manufactured in a lab.
Yeah, I think most people would say the golden age of like drug use is not now. It was like in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And like the other reason is because it's not safe now. Like in the 90s, way less people were dying of overdoses because fentanyl didn't exist. Like that's actually if you, by the way, like I'm like, we're not really in those types of circles, but like, if you ever see like those YouTube like short videos, like there's one that there's this podcast I watched called
see drug use
called Goblin Cast.
Recreational, yeah.
They were saying like, it's like it's worse now to be like really addicted to serious drugs.
See if it was. Sorry.
He's interrupting him.
I'm sorry.
I know, like
go ahead.
no one's
interrupting you to talk shit about me.
No one is listening to this episode, but that's all good. Yeah. Anyway. Like I think it's a harder time now to be into hard drugs as well, just because of fentanyl.
Yeah, well, I think that is true. Like again, like I'm just guessing. Like I don't know. Like I don't think the article like states like reasons why either. I think the article was just like saying, hey, this is a trend. We don't like it, and these are the reasons why we don't like it. But yeah. It'd be interesting, and love to hear like audience. Like, do you guys think people are drinking less, and if you don't drink as much, like, why don't you?
Okay, so what are you guys' thoughts on like drug use? Let's say over the past like 10 years, over the past like year. Do you think it's getting more, or do you think it's getting less?
I think more.
You think more? Do you think differently, Luke, or do you think the same?
In the last 10 years?
Think about just if you have a nuance between the two, give it to me. But like 10 years, 1 year, 20 years, whatever.
I feel like just compared to like what they would call like the post World War II era, it's definitely less like in terms of percentage of the population.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like in terms of total count, it probably has gone up.
Okay, so approximately 1 in 18 people worldwide use drugs in the past year, marking a 23% increase over the past decade. Weed is still the most most widely used drug globally. Production for cocaine reached a record high in 2022, 2,700 tons. That's a 20% increase from the previous year. And then opioids cause the most harm. So overdoses, they have the most overdoses.
Okay, can we compare it to post World War II? I think it's all. Yeah, I think even as a percentage of people, it's going to be higher too.
Pre World War II versus
post. Like the psychedelic era, like of the 70s and stuff like that.
Yeah. But to be fair,
Woodstock,
I think
like you know what I mean, that era.
But to be fair, that would only really apply to like North America and Europe, because like this is a global statistic, right? Like I would imagine globally, it's easier to access drugs than ever with globalization. True. But like that might not be the case for our environment.
I think Western style societies probably had the same problems with drugs back in the 70s and 80s. Like wherever the influence was.
I don't know. I've heard several different sources that say like it was safer to take hard drugs back then.
Yeah, but safer versus like more frequent use, completely different things.
But like, okay, yeah, fair.
That's one of the things it says, like notable contrast from like that era to today. LSD and weed were revolutionary, so that was the vibe. Like turn on, like turn up, that was it. And they were seen as like a rebellion and spiritual tool. Whereas now I feel like
casual.
It's casual, right?
Yeah.
Lower potency, less laced products.
Yeah.
That was back then. So now synthetic drugs, they dominate from fentanyl to designer pills, and the higher stakes. One mistake can mean death. And yeah, monetization is the biggest thing, right? Like legalizing cannabis.
Yeah,
get that done.
I guess the whole point why I brought this up is like I feel like this is contributing to like I think there's a correlation between the increase in drugs that are not alcohol and like Giga, I mean like
you think
alcohol
people are putting
consumption.
alcohol aside and,
Oh,
and
you're
picking
like,
up the
okay.
pills?
Yes.
Okay, I see.
That's what I was just trying to like.
I think I'd be inclined to agree. I just feel like the rise and the decline, the timelines don't necessarily match.
Probably.
So it's hard for me to like be on board with a direct like causation.
No, not causation. I think there's a correlation.
Just a correlation.
Tiny,
I get it.
Probably,
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
that's just my opinion. I don't know if it's true. I think
we all smoke more weed than we drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just think less people like drink in public and at events. Like that's probably my opinion. Like I think the biggest contributor is probably like restaurants buying way less alcohol from alcohol vendors, events selling less alcohol. Like events like you know, like one of my cannabis clients was just talking about like getting like cannabis drinks into like stadiums. You know what I mean? Like that's happening in BC.
Yeah.
Like we go out to like eat now, like not everyone gets a drink
Mm-hmm.
when we go out to eat, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like and then also like people just like go out like to the clubs when we were when we were in university, like straight up the interns, like I would ask them, like sometimes we'll be talking at the lunch table and I'd be like, oh, what do you guys do? And then they'll be like, oh, you know, like we like
Run.
no, like they're like they'll hang out, they'll scroll TikTok, like they'll just, but like they won't be like, oh yeah, like we're going out. Like these are like specifically like 19 to 21-year-olds, right? So
Well,
like that demographic is not like their number one thing is not like, oh, I'm gonna go out. Like that was definitely like what we were doing back then.
Right.
okay.
Well, I think we should wrap up this spirited conversation. If you, the listeners at home, have any thoughts about, you know, what your relationship with drinking is like, if you want to share any stories, let us know and we'll definitely talk about it. So thank you, boys, for a good episode, and thank you everyone for listening. Until next time, one love.
Aces.